scenes from Windsor, and there are the two brothers, Prince William and Harry, and also I think that's Meghan. So Meghan is there as well. So there we are, the two princes and their wives. Alistair, this wasn't expected.
No, the Prince and Princess of Wales with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex coming down the long walk to Cambridge Gate, interestingly, and perhaps after a short talk, maybe coming out to meet the public who are here. A family together. The Prince of Wales has only recently issued his statement saying that he will do whatever he can to fully support the new king. Coming down from Windsor Castle, the Great George IV Gate behind them, and framing their departure now from the private area and coming into the public part of the park, where the Long Walk has often had many royal occasions, not least more recently when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were married, coming out to look at the enormous number of floral tributes laid here for the Queen, who spent most of the latter months of her life here at Windsor Castle. She was here throughout COVID. It was here that the Duke of Edinburgh died, and it was a very special place for the Queen and Prince Philip, probably their principal home, and for their two grandsons to be here with their wives, looking at those floral tributes.
And neither the Princess of Wales, as she is now, nor Meghan making the journey up to Scotland.
Well, they have families and responsibilities, and it matters only that they're here now in support of the King and remembering their grandmother. It is extraordinary, the quantity of contributions and things that have been left by members of the public to reflect upon a Queen whose reign was so long. in recent years, and I rather sense that for the late Queen, knowing that her two grandsons are here with their two wives, together supporting the King and reflecting upon her and all the kindnesses that have been shown in reflection of the late Queen's life, would be very special to her. She only really ever cared that all the family should be happy, and she, as was said by the King, she always saw the very best in everybody, and she will have done that in particular with all members of her family.
All right, Alistair, thank you very much. Rhiannon Mills, our royal correspondent, is also watching these pictures with us. And Rhiannon, it's interesting that
Making us try and get up to the gates, okay? Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. You say that. You have a moment. Nice to see you guys. God bless you
Let you watch and listen to these remarkable pictures we're seeing outside Windsor Castle. And in so many ways, they really do speak for themselves, don't they? The Prince and Princess of Wales, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, out to meet the huge crowds that, as you can see there, what a picture that is, stretching down the long walk at Windsor. These pictures also being watched by our royal correspondent Rhiannon Mills, and well, Rhiannon, I mean, with it, amid the great sadness, this will be delighting these crowds.
I think at this most solemn of moments, this, in a way, will bring a smile to many. It's been a moment that so many people have wanted to see, a sense that you have two brothers who in the past were so close and have undoubtedly had a very difficult couple of years. A lot of things have been said since the Sussexes decided they wanted to step away from royal life, and yet today we have them again coming together and so naturally once again slipping into that sense of the royal duty, the royal role, and carrying out one of those walkabouts that you have to remember it was actually the Queen and Prince Philip who decided. They were the first ones who went out and made sure that they met as many people as possible. And here we see two men who have no doubt had their difficulties in the last couple of years, and they've both come together really in a mark of respect, and I think to get out and meet the crowds and share in this moment of immense grief for so many. I understand that yesterday Prince William, the new Prince of Wales, was mulling over whether or not to do a walkabout of this sort with his wife Catherine. And it was earlier on today that he was the one who approached Prince Harry and Meghan and said, look, would you like to join us when we go out there and meet the crowds? Because of course they are in essence now neighbours, because they both live in cottages, very large houses, but cottages on the Windsor estate. So Harry and Meghan, who purely by fate happened to be in this country, of course they moved away to America when they decided to step away from royal life. When they were here in the UK, which they have been this week, carrying out engagements, they still have their base at Frogmore Cottage. And only this week, William and Catherine's children, of course, have started at a new school very close to Windsor, and they have decided to move the family out to Adelaide Cottage. And an awful lot was made about, were the two couples going to meet at all when the Sussexes were here in this country? And in essence, what we were hearing was there was no communication and they simply weren't going to talk. And the last time that we saw the Sussexes in the UK, so at the Platinum Jubilee, there were suggestions that there was this frostiness that was still continuing when we saw them at St Paul's for that Platinum Jubilee service, the Sussexes sitting in the opposite aisle from the other senior royals. But I think what the Queen always said, despite all of the difficulties that were had, despite everything that was said while she was alive, the Sussexes, she constantly repeated, were still much loved members of the royal family. And so, in a way, you get the sense that they're doing it for her. They are, well, two men who, over the years, have been united in grief, of course, sharing the death of their mother, and now once again coming together in this incredible way, which is completely unexpected, to pay the ultimate respect to their grandmother.
And Rhiannon, what is noticeable is this is all generations here, young and old, and all out, just wanting to
Sorry, guys, I
see
can
the royal
check what
family,
I
to
can
pay
reply, I
tribute
can
to the royal
reply.
family, to pay their respects to the royals.
And we sort of get glimpses, don't we, of those conversations that are being had. And I think at one point Prince William was saying to some of the younger children in the crowds, have you heard of the Queen? And yeah, there are smiles, and it sort of resonates with this feeling that we've got when it comes to what we've heard from the new king, when we've had his address to the nation last night, and also the words that we heard from him at the Accession Council, where
Shout out everybody.
he talked about how much it means to the royal family when they're going through this incredibly difficult time, to know that Queen
Thanks
Elizabeth
for
II
watching.
was so widely respected by so many. And in a briefing a couple of hours ago, we were told that for the new king, while yes, of course, the state duties are very important at the moment, his main focus is going to be leading the royal family, our nation, and other Commonwealth realms in mourning, really wanting to make sure that he personally gets out to meet as many members of the public as possible to share in that grief. Here we also see how, in a way, other members of the royal family, it seems, are gaining some solace from being able to talk to the crowds. And you have to remember, this is something they weren't able to do when we saw the death of the Duke of Edinburgh due to COVID. And yet now, because those restrictions have lifted, because we're living in different times, the crowds can come out in Windsor. And Prince William, Kate, Harry and Meghan have now spent, almost 40 minutes, obviously shaking as many hands as possible, reaching out and grabbing those bouquets of flowers. We can see Meghan there, handing over a bouquet. And what's been fascinating for me to watch, knowing the teams around them, knowing the Prince and Princess of Wales's team, at one point I saw one of their team go over to Meghan and say, "Would you like me to take those flowers from you?" I think there is this sense, look, we're welcoming Harry and Meghan. Whatever's been said, some of it said very recently, whatever's been said and said very publicly in the press, this is a time not for family squabbles. This is a time to listen to what the Queen would have said, would have wanted. She always described Harry and Meghan as much loved members of the royal family. And as the King last night mentioned, he talked about how the Queen had this unerring ability always to see the best in people. And today, I think we are seeing how the Prince and Princess of Wales are following her example and saying, look, in terms of family problems, family turmoil, this is not the week to draw attention to that. This is a week to come together to remember her and also now support the new king.
Yes, it's interesting. We saw the traditional side of the monarchy this morning, but here, right here, outside Windsor, is the modern monarchy in action.
It is, and look, the arrangements around the death of Queen Elizabeth II have been years in the planning, and yes, the ceremonial was always the thing that we were briefed about, the certain events, the ceremony that would happen every day. Today was meant to be a day about the Accession Council, about that first big ceremonial moment since the death of the Queen, in which we saw the new king proclaimed as the new monarch, the pageantry around that, the celebration, the fanfare. But also you have, of course, many people still wanting to pay their respects and mourn the Queen. And there is no doubt that the way that the royal family, in these pictures, in this moment, have spent, almost 40 minutes speaking to as many people as possible. This is what matters to many people up and down the country. This is the way that they connect. And of course, that tradition was started by the Queen. She was the one who always realised that the royal family must stay relevant if they're to survive. And it's been difficult. It has been difficult for the family. We live in much less deferential times. We live in a time where the media have wanted to know about the relationship between the Cambridges and the Sussexes. And I think with this moment, the Prince of Wales, the new Prince of Wales, we see there, almost getting into that car. For him, he made that decision that he was going to ask the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to join him today on this walkabout and, in essence, show that they are united, try to put to bed the questions that were going to remain this week about would the Sussexes be involved. And with this one move, with this remarkable walkabout, we can see them now. I'll just pause. there they go, getting into their cars. The two couples who, on the marriage of Harry and Meghan, were described as the Fab Four, who have had their difficulties over the past couple of years, but today have been very much united when it comes.
Quite a lot of time looking at floral tributes outside the castle, and then they went walking about, meeting